Hey guys, EC Network here, coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to discuss with you guys the rise and fall of the Ben 10 toy line and how it drastically changed the future of the Ben 10 franchise. It's honestly something that I don't really hear talked about that much, but it drastically changed the direction in which Ben 10 was going in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and it honestly drastically changed the future of the franchise after Omniverse. That's the whole reason we got a reboot. So without further ado, let's get into this. So you guys have probably heard me say many times before, Ben 10 was a cash cow. It was a financial juggernaut for Cartoon Network, and the big reason for that was because of the sales of the Ben 10 toy line. Now, if you guys don't know, the original Ben 10 toy line was made by Bandai. Now, these Bandai figures came out for the original series. They continued to have a line immediately when Alien Force came out. Same thing with Ultimate Alien, but then what happened at this point, the original series was huge. The toys sold like crazy. Alien Force, the toys were still selling. Then when we got to the point of end of Alien Force, beginning of Ultimate Alien, the toy line started to decline in sales. And the reason for this is because the kids who were growing up on the original Ben 10, they were older now. They weren't interested in buying action figures. So at the point at which Ultimate Alien was coming to a conclusion, the executives over at Cartoon Network were trying to figure out, how do we get kids to buy toys again? How do we get more new kids into Ben 10? And what they decided to do was Omniverse. Omniverse obviously doesn't have that dark, serious tone that Alien Force and Ultimate Alien had. Obviously, it's more comedic. It has a much more colorful art style than the dark, dreary look of Ultimate Alien and Alien Force. They were trying to make it more inviting for kids. Another thing as well is they were trying to get kids into Ben 10 by making, 10-year-old Ben, or rather 11-year-old Ben, have a role in Omniverse. They were trying to make it so that kids could see themselves in Ben. 10-year-old kids could be like, hey, he's the same age as me. That's kind of the reason why Pokemon, for example, that's a franchise that Ash Ketchum's always remained at the age of 10. Whenever you play a new Pokemon game, you're always 10 years old, 11 years old. You're always that age, because so kids can relate to the character. That's what they were trying to do with Omniverse. And all of this was so that they could get more toy sales. They can reinvigorate the toy line like it was for the original series. This didn't work though for Omniverse. Omniverse was a popular series. It wasn't a bad series. I know a lot of people hate on it. I personally really liked the series. It didn't do what the network sought out to do. It didn't get kids super into the toy line like the network wanted to, so much so that if you guys paid attention at the time to the different toy fairs that were going on, there were, at the point at which I think season 4 and 5 were coming out, Galactic Monsters, which I believe was the 5th season in Omniverse, there were a bunch of figures shown off for that line. They were having like a special Galactic Monsters line of figures. They straight up never released in the US. They only released in Europe, and a lot of those figures actually never came out. Some of them were produced and they just scrapped them. Like the Bullfrog figure is worth a lot of money because that figure never came to market. It was made, there are some out there, but they never released it on stores' shelves. So this then caused the network to then burn out all the Omniverse episodes at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. time slot just because they had to get rid of the episodes they produced. They wanted to end Ben 10. And the reason this happened again is because they were trying to get kids interested in the toy line again. So then what happens? Well, Cartoon Network, the executives over there are trying to discover, okay, how can we get kids to buy Ben 10 toys? Because what we did with Omniverse, it didn't work. It didn't get kids interested in the Ben 10 toy line again. So what they did is, let's reboot the whole thing. Let's make it the original series 2.0. Kids are gonna love it. Kids are gonna buy the toys and we'll have a huge financial success like we had back in 2005. They did that. It worked initially because the Ben 10 toy line did well. The Playmates toys, they are the new producers of the Ben 10 toys. They ditched Bandai for Playmates, and the toys are honestly of a much higher quality. They made these figures, they released them, they were selling, but then if you look around season 3, season 4 of the reboot, they stopped making new toys. There were a lot of toys that were shown at these different toy fairs that never came to market. For example, Crab was one figure in season 1 that was shown, never came to market. The different Omnic Hicks forms of characters never came to market. We never got a Jetray figure, a Way Big figure, Goop, any of the characters from season 5, those 3 specials that we got. None of those characters ever got an action figure. And this is because the sales were declining again. If you look at the time at which seasons 4 and 5 5 were releasing for the Ben 10 reboot, and even at the end of Season 3, what were they releasing? They were releasing the same characters, Diamond Head, Heat Blast, those same molds, but just with a different paint job on them, or they were releasing them as translucent characters. Why? They're using the same molds. That's cheap to use. They're not creating new molds for it because the toys weren't selling as well again. So now we're at a point again, we're in a state of flux for Ben 10. We don't know what's going to happen next, but it just shows you how the toy line has drastically changed the direction of the franchise. It's the reason Omniverse didn't have a dark and serious tone like Ultimate Alien and Alien Force did. It's the reason why Ben 10 got rebooted. If it wasn't for the toy line, we probably would have gotten a Ben 10,000 series after Omniverse. We would not have seen a Ben 10 reboot. And now we're at a point where we're waiting for the 6th series to come out for Ben 10, the 6th iteration, and it begs the question, is the toy line going to dictate the future of the franchise again? Are they going to say, okay, you know what, the reboot, it worked kind of, we gotta do more of what we did in the beginning and get kids to keep buying the toys? Or are they going to realize, all right, you know what, let's just make a good series, let's make it with a good plot, and if the toys sell, the toys sell? Because honestly, I feel like if you have a good show with a good plot and people get involved in it, kids and even older fans as well, the merchandise will sell itself because people like the series. Like, for example, I just talked about in the recent video how I bought Funkos for Blue and Mac, for Foster Home for Imaginary Friends. I bought that because I like the series, not because I'm a kid. I bought it because, hey, I like that show. I wouldn't mind having a figure of those characters because I really like those characters. So I feel like if they just make a good show, the toy line and the merchandise will sell itself. They just gotta make something good. They can make something that older fans can enjoy and younger fans can enjoy just as much. They can have something that's more dark and serious to it, but it also is meant for kids. It has that child appeal factor to it, just like the original Ben 10 had, just like Alien Force and Ultimate Alien had. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below if you guys realized that the toy line had this much of an impact on the Ben 10 franchise as a whole, and if you guys think that the next iteration of Ben 10 is going to have a huge impact based on the toy line. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.